Hola chicos, es la señora Ver. Here we have another tutorial for another verb tense that we will be covering in class, okay? So, it's called el pretérito. Sí, el pretérito. And what does that mean? That means that this is the immediate past. Please remember that, the word immediate. En español, we are a very picky people, and we tend to distinguish from what you immediately just did, as opposed to maybe something you did a long time ago, or you did habitually, you used to do. We're going to get to that later in the year, but for the moment, let's do this, because, in my opinion, el pretérito, the immediate past, is one of the most commonly used tenses in español. It is even more common than just using the present tense, okay? So, for the moment, we should allegedly know how to properly use the present tense. Let me give you an example here. Yo como un sándwich. See? Nice, easy sentence to start. Yo como está en el presente. It's the present tense. I am eating a sandwich as we speak. Let's say I consume my sandwich, yum yum, que rico, and so I want to tell you that I ate my sandwich, see? Then I would have to say, yo comí un sándwich. And why do I think that this is the most commonly used tense in español? Because most of the stuff that you do, you already did, and if you're telling someone else about it, it's because you already completed the task. So, you just did it in the immediate past. See? We know how to use the present. We know how to maybe hint at the future. Let's put here presente. As opposed to pretérito. And I know this is grammar talk, but we got to know these words, okay? Because later on we're going to do the other past tense that I was mentioning to you before. So, we know how to say things in the present. We know how to maybe hint at future. See? If I were to say, I am going to, futuro, let's make that Spanish. I am going to eat a sandwich, then I would say, yo voy a comer un sándwich. See? And so, with all these three, we kind of have time frames covered because no one speaks in one time frame. You don't go through life speaking just in one tense. So, the same thing we got to do in español. So, let's take a look at this. Let me give you the simplest information off the top. En español, en el pretérito, we only have two sets of conjugations that we need to remember. One is for AR verbs, and one is for ER and IR verbs. See? I hope that everyone knows by now our little conjugation chart. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, vosotros, ellos, ellas, ustedes. Okay, so for AR verbs, let's take a practice verb, hablar. Okay, to talk. Hablar. Let me clear this up a little. Hablar. So, if I want to say I spoke to someone, I would say yo hablé, tú hablaste, él, ella, usted habló, nosotros hablamos, vosotros hablasteis, ellos, ellas, ustedes hablaron. Let's do that one again. Hablar. Yo hablé. Tú hablaste. Él, ella o usted habló. Nosotros hablamos. Vosotros hablasteis. Ellos, ellas, ustedes hablaron. Do you notice anything here that may be similar to something else? Okay, let's leave that question for when we complete our ER and IR conjugations. So, let's take el verbo comer, like we used here, right? Comer un sándwich, all right? So if I want to say I ate, I would say yo comí, tú comiste, él y usted comió, nosotros comimos, vosotros comisteis, ellos y ustedes comieron. And then there you would have all your conjugations. These apply for both ER and IR verbs. Let me take an IR verb and do an example. Escribir, right? To write, escribir. Yo escribí, tú escribiste, él y usted escribió, nosotros escribimos, vosotros escribisteis, ellos y ustedes escribieron. Going back to that question that I said, do you see anything that's similar here to maybe something you've seen before? Okay, let me answer it for you. The nosotros is the same as the present tense. Okay? So the nosotros in the preterite, or the immediate past tense, is just like the present tense. There's another little thing that you should notice, particularly in the yo and the él y usted. Yo, él y usted. What do you see that they both have? Acento. That is one of the characteristics of el pretérito, that the yo and the él y usted carry accents all the time, because sometimes without the accent it may look like some other conjugation in another tense. So to make sure that we are doing el pretérito, you must include that accent. Okay? Two other little verbs that I want to give you before we finish are two very common verbs that we use a lot, and that you're going to be seeing a lot perhaps in our charlemos. So, we used in our last charlemos that we did, our last class, we used el verbo hacer, which means to do or make. Okay, let me draw it out here. And el verbo ir, which means to go. Let me see if we can squeeze it all in here, because you're going to need this for your conjuguemos. So, hacer and ir. Why am I doing them separate? Because they're a little bit irregular, and so we kind of have to just learn these. Though in español, as I always say, even if something is irregular, if you learn the yo, you are good to go. Just follow the pattern for the rest. So let's do hacer. Yo hice, tú hiciste, él y usted hizo. Watch that spelling change right there. Okay, hizo. Nosotros hicimos, vosotros hicisteis, ellos, ellas, ustedes hicieron. All right. Por favor, please be aware of this. That is a spelling change in order to maintain the S sound of the C. Hice, hiciste. If I put a C here, it sounds like ico, and that is not a word in Espanol. It's not a form of this verb. So it's just a little spelling change that we got to be aware of. Yo hice, tú hiciste, él y usted hizo, nosotros hicimos, vosotros hicisteis, ellos y ustedes hicieron. Lastly, let's take a look at ir. Ir we use all the time in Espanol. We go everywhere. So, in this case we went. So let's do the past tense. Yo fui, tú fuiste, él y usted fue, nosotros fuimos, vosotros fuisteis, Ellos, ellas, ustedes fueron. Okay, I kind of think that sounds funny. Fui. Yo fui, tú fuiste, él fue. Nosotros fuimos, vosotros fuisteis, ellos, ellas, ustedes fueron. So, that's a quick basic tutorial on el pretérito, the immediate past, what you just did. Regular verbs take these endings. The good thing is we only need to remember 2 sets of conjugations now for this. And then these 2 that we commonly will be using in class. Obviously, there's a lot more to el pretérito, but this is a good start, and it gives us the ability of speaking in 3 different time frames. Please make sure to complete the embedded questions on this video, and take notes. Show them to me when you are done, and then we will continue with an activity en conjuguemos. Adiós.